Hey, welcome back to another episode of Parental Advisory, Chronicles of the Sandwich Generation. I'm Shirley, and yes, I am so honored to have with you the person that we've been talking about, one of them anyway, as we talk about Parental Advisory, and that is my better half, the original, Shirley Davis, my mom, yay. Tori's gonna sit here, but I'm gonna actually start it out today, and we're going to have a conversation because I've been wanting you all to meet Mom. We've been talking about her. This is my best friend, and we've been sharing with you so many great memories and details, and really, she is the reason why we're all here, and she is the matriarch of our family, and absolutely love her. But Mom, we've been talking about how we parent our parents and all of the things that we're learning, the lessons, and all of the things that we've had to make adjustments to and shift, and the memories that we're creating. So what we want to do is just have a frank, open dialogue with Mom today and ask questions of her so that you all can hear the other side. I know me and Tori have had a chance to share our side, but we want to hear from our own mom. So Mom, first of all, if you just tell us a little bit about right now that you moved to Tampa, Florida, but before you got here, when did you know that this was a place that you would even want to consider not only living here, but living until you graduate to your next life?
I loved it here because we've been coming here as snowbirds for the last 4 or 5 years. Mm-hmm. So I just fell in love with Florida and wanted to move here. And when I decided that I wanted to move, it was like, okay, I'm ready to go because it's too much work up here on this little farm we got. So
in Maryland, we told them y'all were living on like 3 acres in the Maryland DMV area.
Yep. 3 acres.
A lot of work.
Yes, it was a lot of work. So, and we were getting too old. So my daughter just encouraged us, look, come on down here and live the rest of your life until you get to heaven. So
that's right.
I decided to come on.
So tell me, Mom, as you were thinking about it and sort of, I think I had you at hello anyway. It was Dad that we had to kind of pull a little bit and prod a little bit and all of that. How was the transition? Because you lived in that same house for nearly 40 years and yes. All of your memories, your children, grandchildren have all celebrated their memories and lives and stuff there. But how was the transition for you?
It was kind of hard because we just had to sell so much of our things to even get here. And you know, when you have accumulated so much, and that's what was holding my husband back. He did not want to come at all, really. He wanted to stay there with a cow and a horse and chickens and a dog. So, but it took him a long time to decide to come. But then I said, you know what? I'm going on. I think you'll come on. And he did. Yeah,
ultimately, yeah. And, you know, it was interesting because as they were snowbirding with me, it was during the pandemic when everything was shut down. You couldn't go to work. And at that time before the pandemic, Mom was working as a part-time substitute teacher. She had been an accountant for over 30 years working in the same company of MBA in downtown D.C. But this was something now for her to be able to come to Florida and not have to work. And the pandemic really kind of just changed the life for us. But Mom, tell us too, as you came down here and snowbirded, what did you enjoy here in Florida? What are some of the things you enjoy doing?
Oh, they have nice restaurants. They have nice shows they put on. I've been to see Gladys Knight here. And lots of other entertainers also. And movies, plays. Yeah. And most of all, the food and the fish.
I thought you were going to say the weather, too, because
the weather, yes. Because up there, when it was wintertime, I stayed in for about 3 months just like a bear. I hibernated.
Right. And that was the thing I was saying, too, is as our parents get older, recognizing that they're in the cold weather seasons and in those locations that are really like 3 and 4 months of really, really bitter cold, you can't let them be out and about riding and walking and being out in the cold because arthritis sets in, their bones and stuff are brittle, and when they fall, it takes a much longer time to recover. And so 3 or so months out of the year, Mom and Dad had to kind of just stay in. Now, Dad kind of likes a little bit more the cold, but Mom, and she'll tell you this now, she's very cold-natured. Her blood is thinned a lot as she's gotten older. So for her, she wants to be where it's warm. So today, as we're shooting this episode, we're in December and it is literally almost 80 degrees outside. Right. And Mom is absolutely loving it. Yes. So Mom, tell me a little bit about some of the changes you had to make by moving here. I mean, there's a lot of things that we had to do, things like, your health care, your doctors, and changing your insurances, your driver's license, and some of the different laws and stuff. Tell me some of the things that for you had to think about in making that shift.
Yes, I did, and most of it I had to go by myself because my daughter was working, my granddaughter was working. So I had to get the driver's license. I had to get license for my car. I had to find a new primary care doctor, and so on. I had to also learn new friends, find a new church, and it was, it was okay, but it's time consuming. And I also had to find new banks and everything.
That's
so
right.
yes,
yeah. But at least now we're a year in. So it's been about a year and a half. How has it felt for you now to be living with your daughter away from, your old home and all of the things that you were used to?
I love it. Because she's out every day. She wants to go, and whenever she's not working, on her days off, she wants to go shopping, and I'm a shopaholic.
They love
and
to get
she
out
loves
and do
to eat out, and I love that too because I'm tired of cooking.
My mom, if y'all don't know, she is 80 years old, 80 and a half, and she looks amazing. And so I'm grateful for great genes because in my 80s, I'm going to look fabulous like my mom does as well. But Mom, too, there was other adjustments that we had to make. So you've never lived with me in over, 40 years since I left home?
Not since
maybe 35. Yeah, since I left after high school to go to college. And when I left to go to college, I never moved back home.
That's
I
right.
left college and then moved to Tulsa, Oklahoma to go to my master's degree, worked there, stayed there for 8 years, had Tori, and moved to then Richmond. So I moved to a couple of different states and places, but never been back home to live with Mom. So we had to be reintroduced again.
That's
Mom,
right.
what are some of the things that you feel like as we now live together that we've had to adjust? I was telling them things like, I've had to learn too that because their blood is thin, we were back and forth with the temperatures. So now, thank God, we're in a house now where at the other end of the house, they have their own thermostat. And that works out great because I'm really, really cold natured going through the shifts and changes in my life. But when I started my 50s, my body changed biologically. And yes, now I have those night sweats and I have to have it down to like 65 degrees at night, whereas Mom has it at like 75 at night, right? So very, very different temperatures. Mom, what are some other adjustments in now living with your daughter after 30 years and even getting to know me?
Yes. I have to know that I am the mother now, and I can't rule her around because she's old too.
Oh God,
She's getting old too.
Getting
so,
older.
Older. Yes, and I try to stay and not have to, like a child. I can't treat her like a child because she is a grown person now.
Yeah.
And I had to learn that. And we cook together, we do things together, and sometimes I have to catch myself to not say, this is not right. I don't think it looked nice or whatever. So, but we're learning each other.
We do. And we love each other enough and respect each other enough that there's times where I can tell Mom to back away, back off. You know what, this is the way I want it done. Or I like this, even if she doesn't. So those are shifts. And we had to train, even when we first lived together like that first year in 2020, we had to kind of get to a place where Mom wasn't giving me orders. Right. But I was like, Mom, give options, not give orders. So to parents out there, learn that, your children are adults and they've been living on their own. I've never had to go back to my parents to not only live with them, but even, for them to have to take care of me.
Right.
And so I've made my way. And so I want them to, as we live together, have to recognize that I've made my way. And if I made it this far, I'll be okay. And when I need their input and I need their ideas, I ask for it, right? And so it's a difference in sometimes how it is positioned, right? So don't position it as an order or you need to do this or you should do this or that kind of thing. It has to be, hey, have you thought about this? Or here's another way to do it. But if I don't do it, don't be mad about it, right? So it's some of those. And we'll get Dad because Dad is the same time. He's the papa, he's the paternal, and yet he's old school. So Dad feels like what he says goes and his word is the last word. And I've had to challenge him. I'll give it to you. And so we've had to make some of those adjustments. Even though, like Mom said, I'm busy a lot, I have to still go with her sometimes to her doctor's appointments and making sure that we're asking the right questions, and, you know, even with her prescriptions and things like that. Or, you know, she's taking her blood pressure every day now more than ever before, and she's on different prescriptions. So it's things like that that I have to help manage. And this isn't a time too where you want to know your parents' health. This is not the time for them to be secretive. It's not the time for y'all to be distant. You need to know those things so that you'll know what to ask, so that if there ever is a time and they can't ask themselves or they're not available to do it, we need to be able to ask those questions with them as well. But we also find times to do social activities. Mom and Dad love horses, so we go to the Tampa Bay Downs racetrack. They love doing that. We've been able to, you know, just kind of hang out with friends. So we have some friends in the area where we do that. Mom and Dad love football, so they watch sports and stuff together. That's their thing. But just doing some, you know, things around the house. Mom also loves to garden. So one of the things we have in common, in addition to shopping and being foodies, I also told you too, Mom loves to design. She's got the design eye. And so we love to go shopping. And Mom helps me. She helped me design a lot of the house. She helped me design with the Christmas stuff. So that's been really sweet.
Yes.
What are some other things too, Mom, for you that you feel like you've had to adjust to, or things you've learned?
Well, I'm not in a Baptist church anymore, so I had to go learn a different church and how their rituals go. So, but it's been good. I love it. I love my church. I love the minister there.
Yep. That's good. Yeah, good church, which means that, you know, they get to continue to practice their faith. And it was great. Now, my daughter goes to a different church than we do, but we love that one and we love mine. And so we kind of just support each other and at different times. So that was important. And Mom and Dad get a chance to go back and forth up and down the street to Washington, D.C.
Yes.
They've done that a couple of times.
I think he's been up there about 6 times.
In the 1 year that you've been here?
In the 1 year that we've been here. In fact, he's up there now.
Yep, he's up there now. So we'll get a chance to get Dad whenever he gets back in town this week, and we'll record, and you'll get a chance to meet him. But Mom, some of the other things too, I want to leave them up for Tori. So we'll take just a quick break, and when you come back, then you'll get a chance to hear her granddaughter kind of talk a little bit about their vibes together, their working together, and how we've been working to kind of co-parent our parents and her grandparents. We'll be right back.
All right, we're back. I'm in the driver's seat, and I'm going to be talking to my grandma. Mom did a great job, and I hope you guys enjoyed just a little bit of the backstory and the ways that they've been navigating. But now it's time to get down to the nitty-gritty. So this is my grandma, and I call her, and all my cousins would agree, the funniest one in the family, because grandma says stuff unintentionally to be funny. She didn't even know she's funny, but she's sweet and she's wholesome, but she says stuff sometimes. So grandma, first of all, say hello to the people.
Hello. Love my granddaughter and my daughter.
Okay, so when we were moving in this whole story, we talked about the transition and how for us as grandkids, it was hard saying goodbye to the family home.
Right.
And that was a place where Grandma and Papa loved to entertain. So whenever we had a major milestone, it was at their house. Birthdays, graduations, going away parties, all the things. Weddings, all the things. So I will say, Grandma, how was it for you, because you were such a homemaker, because you were such a hostess, and that was the center of our family, was that part hard, saying goodbye to?
I miss it somewhat, yes, but it was a lot of work. But I needed to slow down from doing all of the work like that, because most of the time I did all the cooking, everything. And we would sometimes have 300 and 400 people in our yard, so.
Oh yeah, for the Family and Friends Days.
Yeah, Family and Friends Day, we had that every year. And now we've started our family reunion down here with just our immediate family right now. So.
Yeah, just Grandma and her kids, but that's enough, because that's
and
enough
the grandkids, it's about 23 of us, so.
And that's enough to do something. So we were talking about new traditions that we've had to do. Some of the traditions traveled on down the road with them, and we still incorporate them.
That's right.
And then the other traditions, we've had to just make adjustments, and they look a little bit different. So my mom was asking you, what are some of the biggest adjustments that you've made? And I'm gonna ask you, what has been What has been your favorite thing about Florida so far?
My favorite thing is just living a life of greatness, goodness. I just love it here.
Waking up and just feeling carefree?
Yes, yes. Don't have much to do.
So yeah, Grandma, tell them what's a day in the life of this new life of you? A day in the life of Shirley.
Oh, I like to sit out in the backyard, on the back porch, and look out ooh, my daughter has a lot of acreage, so I just can sit out and look at the birds sing and look at all the different animals that come around.
So Grandma,
The
like
trees are full of moss, so I love that.
Oh yeah, and we touched on the fact that you're a green thumb. So how much of that have you been able to bring back?
Yes. She and I have been repotting flowers that she needed to repot for years, cutting them in two, putting them in different pots. So yes, we have been doing that now. In fact, we just did a lot last week.
What was last week?
Last week? Yeah, we took the flowers and cut them in two and put them in different pots. And we still got more to do.
Okay.
My
Yes.
Dieffenbachia had grown so big.
A Dieffenbachia?
My Dieffenbachia had grown so big and it had so many different stalks and stuff. You can cut it out and we made 6 other plants out of it.
Okay.
And they are flourishing real pretty too.
Good. Yeah, so Grandma is the one that's going to help me keep my plants alive. I'm a professional plant killer. I will opt for a faux plant 10 times out of 10 because they keep the greenery, they're low maintenance, you don't have to worry about them. And Grandma over here, she just is like the plant whisperer. So her flowers are all flourishing. She knows what looks good, what time of the year they go. She just knows these things. It's almost like instinct. She knows when to plant them and how much sun they need.
Right.
And thankfully, she's in the Sunshine State now, so she has
Yes,
an
all
entire
year
garden.
round.
Oh, tell them about the garden.
Yes, and you know what? We did a garden every year, and I had to raise food for my daughter here because she loved to cook the zucchini bread, and we had to go plant zucchini. But most of all, I had to peel the zucchinis and mush it up so she could use it to bake her cakes with.
She said, mush it up.
That would be puree.
Okay.
Puree in it, yes.
Okay. But what do y'all have in the garden now? And what did you have in the garden in Maryland?
Oh, we had just tomatoes and onions and corn, salad, greens.
Yeah, I used to do a bunch of greens, turnips.
Yes.
So do y'all bring the same things down here? Is the weather, does that make a difference?
It's sort of different. Yeah, it is different because we had to plant like in the spring and fall. Down here, you can plant just about all year round.
Oh, yeah. So they have mango. Well, we have mango, we have lemon, we have watermelons, bananas, lots of fruits.
And apple tree.
Apples. Yeah. Another thing I wanted to touch on is one way that me and Grandma have bonded since she's been down here is I'm a hair girl. I love all things hair. I love natural hair. I love taking care of hair. I like growing hair. And I have been on the anti-creamy crack raid for a few years. And all of us, in the Black culture, we've all had relaxers at some point in time in our life cycle. And so with Grandma coming down here, being in a different climate, I wanted to make her hair my business. Because she, at one point in time, I think some of the medications or whatever was like having it do some things that she wasn't happy with.
Out.
Okay.
It's falling out and causing little patches.
I don't want to put her business in the streets, but it was falling out.
No, but it's a great thing because look at it now. It is so full and so long. If you pull one strand now,
Yeah.
you see how long it is.
So-
Look how long my grandmama, look how long mama.
Yeah, Grandma's hair is so soft, it's so luscious, the curls are so defined, it's moisturized, and just give them a little
It's
turn.
full, yeah.
Nice and
No
full
spots.
and thick. And this is, for her, very low maintenance because that was the other thing.
That's right.
What were you doing every day with your hair?
Putting dye in it and putting perms in it. Now I don't do any of those. Just
And putting heat
shampoo
on it. You used to put heat on it every day.
Yeah, I used to put heat on it every day too.
She do keep it black though. She has not embraced the full white head of hair, but
Are you gonna do that?
though, she
I think I will.
You gonna let it go platinum?
I think so.
Ooh. Now Papa's the one we gotta convince because
He's not gonna go no
I
further.
don't care if he got 2 strands left.
Papa got the Jermaine
He's
Jackson.
gonna have black
Yeah.
dye in his hair because he wants to keep looking. And he actually does. He's 81, but
He
he
looks
really
great.
does look young anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
Tell Mama about even the trichologist that she got a chance to meet.
Yeah, Grandma, tell us about the
Helped her
trichologist that you
with
had a
as well.
chance to meet.
Oh my goodness. I was so glad to meet her. She told me all about my hair and everything. She gave me products. In fact, I can't call her name, but anyway, Dr. Lowry. Yes, she gave me products and everything, and now my hair I'm just so happy with it.
And you didn't have a trichologist back home, so these are things that, in a lot of ways, my mom and I are helping them to like come into this new age and maybe upgrade and elevate their lifestyle and quality of life, and that requires invoking the help of experts in areas that perhaps we didn't care to seek out, right?
Right, and they're talking about who's a trichologist?
What is a trichologist? Correct. Grandma, can you tell us what a trichologist is from your understanding?
Yeah, she studies the hair fossils. Everything with the hair. She can do it. And now she's got contracts all over the United States for people that's losing their hair. And it's not just for older people, it's for young people too. I don't know what happened.
Okay, y'all, sorry. Y'all, okay, this reminds me of a story. Grandma was with us in this story. So we were at church, and I'm gonna tell this story because it is so funny. We all used to go to the same church back in Maryland. I'm not gonna name the church, but it was a beautiful Baptist church, and on the first Sunday of every month, they had a special choir. And I never forget.
Call the name of the choir.
No, I'm not even gonna call the name of the church.
Okay.
So
No, don't say it.
No. We were all in church together, sitting on the same row, and I was watching Apollo the night before. We were in church, and y'all know, everybody that sings does not always make a joyful noise unto the Lord. And so I said something to my mom in her ear, and what just happened just now with us, we lose it and we can't come back. So we were in church hollering, cracked over to the side, tears coming out of our eyes.
Somebody was singing that did not have the anointing to call in. They didn't have the fever, the feeling.
Or the note, couldn't find it.
Tori looked over at me, and if y'all have ever seen
Apollo.
The night at the Apollo, and when the guy comes out, he says, womp, womp, and then she did that in church.
Oh my
and
gosh.
I was almost under the pew.
Because everybody was thinking it. And I just said it.
Under the pew.
And Grandma was no good because every time she tried to get my mom together,
Don't do this. Don't do that, because it made us holler even more. It was so funny and embarrassing. And the pastor had to get on me after church.
Yes. And from the pulpit.
Yeah.
Don't be laughing at us.
Yeah.
Yes. So Grandma, tell them the story that you had before we got on here.
Okay. I got locked out of the house and didn't have my key. So I had to get...
Who were you with?
Tori, with my granddaughter and one of my grandsons. They climbed through the window and come around the back and opened the back door for me to get in. And when I got in, I had taken some Spanish classes, and I thought I knew a little bit of
Sign language.
Sign language classes. So I was doing some sign language with them, and they thought that was just so funny.
So Grandma had me and Renard in the car, and the context in that is you got the two goofiest ones with you.
Right. They laugh at everything.
Laugh at everything. And so Grandma, we get to the house, and Grandma couldn't get in, and we were trying to figure out how, and it was wintertime, it was cold outside. Mm-hmm. We couldn't figure out how to get in this house, but we have to get Grandma in the house. And so Renard figures he can climb up through the window, because I don't know why, but that day they had left the window unlocked, so Renard was able to climb up through the window. And he's on my shoulders, and we're trying to climb up, and we're just hollering, laughing, crying. And Grandma how did you get out through where were you?
I was around I was waiting for you all to come around and open the door.
Waiting for us to open the door, and we couldn't hear each other, so Grandma and her 3 days of sign language thought that she was gonna give us a whole sentence. Thought that she was gonna give us instruction versus just talking to us, but she was in it, and me and Bernard hollered because she was serious as a heart attack.
And y'all ain't understanding.
Nothing. And I don't really think it was sign language that you was doing, Grandma. I think you was just flashing your hands.
It was sign language that I learned. I learned some sign language.
And cause what's the sign language for open the door? So that was a time too. But we have so many just moments that are hilarious. What has been the biggest surprise of Florida? Like something that you just didn't expect, you didn't really, it's kind of surprised you?
Well, the hurricanes was we had two.
Back to back this year.
Back to back hurricanes.
Helene and Milton.
And it was a lot of wind and a lot of water. We didn't have that there, so that was one thing that I didn't enjoy. But hopefully that was the only time that we will have that, because that was a terrible storm.
Yeah.
People lost, and they still have lost some of everything. Everything.
Yeah.
Lost their homes, so.
Yeah.
And that was new for me.
Grandma, do you like the beach? Because my mom is a beach bum, and I know a lot of the time that she spends just relaxing is at the beach. Do y'all like that too, or y'all just do it because she likes it?
Well, I go with her sometimes. I don't like that sand in my feet and toes, yes.
But the water, I'm just thinking about being out there in the water.
Right.
Okay. Have you gotten in the pool yet?
Yes.
Grandma got in the pool?
She did. She did.
You enjoy the pool? Mm-hmm. Can you swim?
No.
Okay, that's fine.
But that's
I don't think you
okay.
don't like the water. I just
That's
learned how
fine.
to swim myself.
And
Just
got a
learned
hot-
how to swim last year.
I love me some water. Though.
Yeah. Okay.
And I've gotten in the hot tub, which I needed.
Yeah.
Yeah, so-
And I only say that because that's in contrast to the way that she lived back home in the DMV. We didn't have a pool at that house.
Yeah, but in Florida, everybody has one, right?
Right.
Most people have that, and they have a pool and a hot tub, or they're close by the beach anyway.
Yeah.
Just in Florida, that's what you have to have. All the homes are built with those screened enclosures, or we call them cages, right over your backyard. And
I thought
that's
they
what
called
people do.
lanais.
Some are called lanais, but once they screen it in, it's called like a cage or a screen enclosure. Over the pool, because it's required if you're gonna have it, or you gotta have up a gate.
Okay.
For safety.
Okay.
So it's a thing.
And another thing about moving down here, I left all my grandchildren here. I have 11 grandchildren. 9 of them are boys, and 2 of them are girls.
I thought you
This
had
one.
more than that.
No.
Okay. We do this every time. But go ahead.
Yes.
Well, you gotta include your steps, or you have to include the other ones.
Two
as well,
other
too.
little
You have other
girls,
ones,
yeah.
too, that they're all part of the family. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you miss all your grandkids, and that was the thing too. Grandma had a huge hand in raising all of us in our primary years. So I remember, like, there was a time where Renard not lived with you, but Renard would spend a lot of time with you.
Yeah.
There was times where I would be with Grandma for some days when my mom had to work or she was traveling. So Grandma really was our babysitter. Grandma was our mother goose. She was our friend. We
Mother
shopped.
goose.
She did, because Grandma would teach as well. Like, she would teach us stuff around the house, and we were always following after Grandma. We love our Grandma. So how has that been now that we're all grown?
I know.
We're all adults. Only a few of us still live in Maryland. Some of us have scattered abroad and traveling and living in different places. So how do you stay close with your grandkids?
We call each other.
Okay.
Yeah, and I got one that's overseas now, and we talk periodically. So yes.
FaceTime and phone calls helps, right?
And they know how to text, and thank God I did a lot of computers when I was working for 30 years. So I still could do computer work.
Okay.
So I can text and I can call.
Grandma can't text when her phone is not on.
She can text, she calls, she gets on social media, she knows how to use WhatsApp.
Yeah.
So she does.
Grandma is really savvy with those things.
And they taught her how to use Cash App.
She can use.
The children taught me how to use Cash App.
Right, because they were sending her requests. Okay, and then last but not least, I think from one of the ways I've had to reintroduce myself to you in a different way is, remember when you got those surgeries on your knees and on your hips, and I would come over to help, kind of just when she was in the bed recovering. Immediately after surgery, there was a few days of just, fixing the cast and making sure her leg was elevated, giving her medication, cooking for her because she obviously couldn't walk and stuff at certain times. So I enjoyed that. And I think also too, being one of the only grand girls, it helped because I was a little gentler and I had a little bit of a bedside manner. So me and Grandma got close in those. And now that you're here, who you call to go with you to your doctor's appointments?
If Mom can't go, you go with me.
Yeah, and that's one that's really important too. As I'm parenting both of them, I think all of us are kind of acting as advocates. Like, we'll go to the doctor's office. I'm asking questions for Grandma. I'm asking questions for Mom. Mom is asking questions for Grandma. And it's been really supportive, and I think that's different for me because growing up, I never saw you in the doctors.
Right.
Yeah. So this is the first time where I'm in the offices. I'm hearing what the doctors are telling her. And we're all holding each other accountable and following up. And yeah.
And even my son, he likes to come down and go too.
Yeah, everybody's on board now.
Yes, yes.
The other thing too is relative to the health adjustments and stuff is, like now, even with Mom with the hip surgery, she can't walk as much as she used to walk or as long as she used to walk. So I finally got her to a place now where she's comfortable getting in some of the scooters when you go into Walmart and riding those. We went to to Kentucky not too long ago and went to a wonderful museum, but it was huge. And there's no way that Mom could have walked that whole time, but she got her a scooter and had the best time and was able to see everything like we were seeing it. So it's getting her used to some of those. It's now even getting her comfortable to walk with the cane. So she's even more recently said, I'm going to get my cane out and I'm going to...
Since when you walking with a cane?
That. Now so that she's not putting too much pressure on having to walk too long on her legs or her knees because they hurt her. So I told her, I said, well, Mom, it's okay. Get a cane. You're in Florida. Everybody here that's in Florida understands it and they retire here.
What's in Florida, Grandma?
More senior people.
What's in Florida, Grandma?
Senior people.
What's the what?
Grandma had said something I was trying to get her to repeat.
I know you are. Stop trying to instigate. Right. So it's those kinds of adjustments.
They can't hear you.
Yeah.
But I've been walking pretty good without one, but I just think the older I get, the more I will need one, yes.
And I was going to say, Grandma's I give Grandma a lot of credit because she's mobile, more mobile than most. Grandma can still shop with us. Grandma can still hang with us. And I think Grandma, too, Grandma still likes to be outside. So there's even times where you have your own little area. She likes to sit outside, get fresh air, get in the sun. So I think her adjustment has been pretty sweet. I'm excited for y'all to hear Papa's side of the story. So, okay, here's the last question I'll say and then I'll wrap up. So I know my mom was working on Papa while y'all were snowboarding back and forth before y'all decided to actually move.
Right.
I know she was kind of working on his journey and how he was gonna, what did that look like when she wasn't in his ear? Like when y'all were at the house, did you feel like he was slowly coming into his own or did you kind of just leave it be and let him come into it in his own time?
I had to leave it be.
Okay.
Until he could come together with himself to let go.
Like there was nothing you could say to really convince this man?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No, but when he saw me packing up everything, well, why are you packing this? You don't need to pack it. It ain't time to go yet. I said, I'm getting ready. Yeah. I don't know what you're doing, but I'm getting ready. You need to be, all that stuff you have gathered out there, you need to be getting it together.
And how did you decide what stayed and what went?
It was hard. I sold so much of my items, but you know what? That's okay. When you die, you can't take nothing with you. Nothing with you when you go.
That's
so
true.
I had to come to grips with that. Yes.
Yeah. And so which ones did you say, okay, I've had this for 30 years, this is sentimental, versus I've kept this for 30 years, I need to let it go? Which ones, how did you choose which got the sticker to get sold and which ones you brought with you?
Which ones I couldn't bring. I just couldn't bring, so I just had to leave it. Yes.
Yeah, and there's a lot of things we brought from Grandma's house here, right? So there's in every room, I think my mom did something really beautiful. I love that you did that.
And I love that she did that, so it makes me feel like I am really at home.
Good. What's your favorite piece of furniture that you brought?
The gold room. What was in that gold room?
Oh, what is that?
That beautiful piece of gold provincial mirror and
what do you call that?
The little marble tables and
stuff. Oh, it's so pretty. It was so pretty. Yes, so I'm glad y'all got a chance to just get an introduction to Grandma. She's warming up. This is her first time, so give her a great round of applause. Grandma did a great job. And y'all will get a chance to meet Papa. He is in the DMV visiting with our family, so he's having the time of his life. And he'll be back to tell you about it and to tell you about his journey. But I invite you all to continue following us, share this, follow and subscribe to our YouTube. And you can follow us on all of our social media at Shirley and Tori. We appreciate all the love we've been getting, and we're so glad that Grandma has agreed to finally join us for the podcast.
You did good, Mom.
Thank you, but I don't like to do this, so.
Yes, so we thank her for her sacrifice. But that's what family is all about, and navigating 3 generations, there's been so many gives and takes and ebbs and flows that we've all had to give up, but then we give a little bit more for someone else. So I think this is now after Christmas, so I hope y'all had a safe time with your families, and we're getting ready for the new year.
Excited.
And we're getting ready for a lot of brand new traditions and new ways to learn and love one another. So until we meet again, Grandma, you say goodbye.
Goodbye. See you next time. Bye.